FreeMMOStation.com.
What's going on, Station? I'm Skyland Shore. Holy crap, I just had a bunch of fun playing ArcheAge. ArcheAge is in its closed beta 2 event right now, so go check your email, make sure you got an invite, because it's actually a lot of fun. Do have to say though that they were having some server issues, so sorry we're a day late here. It was really hard to get in, lots of people were crashing, but good to know that this is like the first time that this has really happened, and they're getting new servers and they're updating stuff and bug patches and all that stuff. So hopefully when the actual launch happens, it'll be a bit smooth, and of course we will be there when that happens. Okay, so ArcheAge. What are my first impressions? Well, I don't know if you can tell by my tonality, but I'm actually pretty stoked for this game. So, in the very beginning of the game, we have character creation. There's a lot that you can do. There's sliders. There's not too many presets, but there are sliders. Also, the story seems really interesting, but of course I'm gonna have to comment on that later, as well as a couple other things like PvP, which is something that I was not able to test on. Character customization, gonna give it a 3 out of 5. It's not as good as Wild Stars, but it's pretty freaking, it's okay. So, MMOs, they tend to either throw you pretty much really far into the fray, like you just get thrown into the game, there's so many systems, so many mechanics, and there's just so much words, and it flusters new players, right? They either do that or they do the opposite. There's no tutorial, nothing, but there's so much to do and you just don't even know where to start. ArcheAge kind of does a combination of the two, and I think it does it very well. So starting in ArcheAge, it just kind of feels good, and there is sort of a bit of a grind, but you move really fast through this grind because you're aware of the potential gameplay options as you level up, right? So you go through these crafting stations, you see these trading stations, the markets, these cities, and you see all these people with different mounts, you see people making houses and crafting different things. You see the potential of what you can do, and they slowly introduce you to the game. You slowly do things. So like you raise a horse, right? So you know that you're going to be farming and you're going to be doing different things. You're gardening, you're going to be owning houses, you're going to be basically owning land, crafting all sorts of different things from armor, tools, to, like I said, houses and mansions. It's just really awesome that you get this sort of phasing into the game. It starts out with just your normal quests, and the quests are very normal in this game. Fetch quests, kill quests, stuff like that. But some interesting concepts here. You can actually over-succeed or exceed expectations of quests. So if it says kill 10 boars and you kill 15, you actually get rewarded for that. And sometimes you can actually finish quests early. So that's actually really cool. One thing that I really liked is just how easy it is to get into the game. You have these mini quests and you have these quests that are basically side quests, you know, trash quests. Every MMO has these, and you just go through these easily. But what's also cool is at the same time you have this main plot that you're going through, and it happens directly. It's not just at the beginning, it's not just at the end of the MMO. You're constantly doing these main quests while you're doing the side quests. So you're leveling up really fast, you're grinding through really quickly, and yeah, there is an extreme linearity based content in the very beginning. You're basically just going on one path. It is very roller coaster, but ArcheAge is not a roller coaster MMO, it's actually an open world sandbox. So that's just at the very beginning to help you go through the leveling process. And basically, the beginning is just one big tutorial, and it feels like that, and it just kind of feels good. You don't feel like you're just grinding away, you know what the game's potential is, and that's what I want to talk about. The pacing in the game is just done right. I really like the questing, I think it's really cool. There is some cinematics, they're basically artistic based, very similar to Guild Wars 2. There's voice acting, stuff like that, and it seems like it's unique per race. But the quests aren't too unique. There are a couple of things that you can do, like chop down trees, climb up trees even. You're going to be doing a couple of different things because ArcheAge has some unique mechanics, such as building and farming, gardening, stuff like that. So you're going to be doing some unique quests, but for the most part, the roller coaster aspect to ArcheAge is nothing really new. But as a player, what can you do? What are your options at the start other than just going through the quests? Well, there's resource gathering, and it's really important. I really can't stress that enough, because you need to hoard these gathered items so that you can craft houses, boats, farms, gardens. You're going to be making armors, weapons, tools. There's lots of trades that you can participate in so that you can impact the market, the economy, and have a more fun gameplay experience, so then you can go and make bigger boats, bigger houses, mansions, be a big member of the community, your guild, whatever. But for the first levels, my first impressions, what I did, I realized that it was really just sort of teased. Basically, levels 1 through 11 or 10, it's really just kind of like a tutorial-ish system. I mean, you go through it like in an hour, so don't worry about that. Yeah, you're basically just teased with these systems. Overall, the pacing feels pretty good, especially compared to other sandbox games like, I want to say, Mortal Online, which is an MMO that's really not doing good. I would even say it failed. It gave 0 in the way of tutorial, and you really can't do that. ArcheAge is doing it right, especially compared to World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft, a lot of the awesome content of World of Warcraft that makes it good is endgame stuff, and you don't even get a taste of that. So people trying World of Warcraft, they don't really know if it's, up to snuff, they quit, they don't realize that the raids and the endgame PvP is really awesome. In ArcheAge, you actually get to, you get a good taste of it early on, and I like that. It's good that they put it roller coaster first, and then open it up to sandbox later. I really like that system. Let's talk about the combat of the game, because that's what we're going to be doing a lot of. It's not just trading, it's not just all this stuff that you're going to be crafting, there's a whole lot of fighting. So the fighting feels identical to World of Warcraft, with an extreme air of floatiness that you might know. It's not standstill, you can stand still, but a lot of the abilities are very mobile or even add mobility, so that's pretty cool. You even have the ability for mounted combat. Yeah, it's really interesting. I think it depends on the different kinds of mounts that you have and your different abilities. But for instance, one thing that I like to do is get on my mount and you can actually leap off your mount and do certain abilities that give you leaps. So that's really interesting. Speaking about abilities, you can actually slot different abilities and pick and choose what abilities you want to level up. So that's actually very similar to Elder Scrolls. But I want to say that it actually rivals that complexity and depth because you actually choose from 3 classes. You are 3 classes combined. So personally, I'm a Shadowblade because I combine the warrior archetype with the thief archetype with the witch archetype. So it's witchcraft, battle rage, and then the shadow. And that basically makes me a Shadowblade. But even if somebody else, say, is a Shadowblade, or somebody else is your identical class, you can pick and choose the abilities, so potentially they're going to have an entire different skill set. But yeah, class crafting is interesting. Very, very interesting. Definitely makes up ArcheAge. It's going to be one unique component, I think, that's going to make ArcheAge definitely worthy in the eyes of somebody who's looking for a new adventure. Especially if you like making builds, and especially if you're somebody who likes testing out different rotations of abilities, because in this game, ArcheAge, you actually have a combo system. The combo system works like some abilities have additional effects depending on status effects or different environmental effects between the enemy or who you're targeting or who you're hitting and also the player. Sometimes abilities are basically twice as strong or even 3 times as strong with different combos. Say a snared target then becomes feared by using an ability afterwards. So basically what you do is you fear them or you stun them first and then you use this ability and then it fears them after the stun. It's just, the combo system is really crazy and I really like the idea of what you can do with the different classes because then you get different combos, different rotations. It's absolutely dramatic, it's crazy, and it makes ArcheAge, probably PvP is going to be exciting as hell. So, I do want to mention about the questing. The questing in itself, I did say it was pretty generic, but I want to say that it's really fast, really efficient. The menus are really easy to navigate. You just go, you press F to talk to somebody, G to accept the quest or the reward, FG, it's just super easy. And I just like to say that the compass system that they have is really cool. Elder Scrolls Online has a compass that takes up part of the screen. In this game, it's actually just hovering around your character, and I think that just makes it so much easier to navigate, and I like that it gives us more screen real estate to actually see the game in its glory. So yeah, makes finding where to go pretty simple. The only thing that I want to complain about in terms of actual gameplay is that mobs are tagged by players. This is the only thing that I think is fair to say that is a total negative. It's not really modern. In modern MMOs, mob tagging is just not a thing. Basically what this means is that whenever somebody gets the first hit on a monster, they are going to be the ones that get the quest reward and the loot. So if you have something like kill 5 boars in an area, if you can't get the first hit, you're not going to get the reward for killing that boar, especially boss monster spawns, because you're going to have to actually sit there, wait for the boss to spawn, and hope that you get the first hit. Extremely annoying. However, I do want to commend the graphics. The game runs smooth for what it displays, especially because it is an open world, and it is pretty, and there's also player-crafted content, so it just runs good considering all things. It looks well enough to be called a next-gen MMO, I will say that. It doesn't have some super amazing art style, and it doesn't have super amazing graphics, but it's good enough, I promise. I want to say that it does go for a more serious tonality versus World of Warcraft or WildStar's cartoon art style. Cartoon art styles are proven to be near timeless. With ArcheAge, we have to hope that they constantly update the graphics in order for this game to age well. I think it will though because it's running on the CryEngine 3, absolutely has that potential. So guys, while I have a lot to explore in ArcheAge, I do want to say that my first day playing has taught me that I have pretty much a large adventure ahead of me and I've really just only started taking my first steps. Really, I've just stepped into this world and hey, it's got me excited to explore more. Anyways, thanks for watching. I'm Skyline Shore with FreeMMOStation. Thanks for watching my first impressions of ArcheAge. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I hope that you're as stoked as me for this game to release. Please let me know in the comments below, and I will see you again next time. Please stay tuned for more ArcheAge content, because we got more coming.